Embarrassment is the entry fee. Maybe it's because you've been scrolling on TikTok for 3 hours a day. I need a croissant. Go! So I feel like for the past 6 months to a year, I've been living life on easy mode. Like, I've had all of these goals, I've had all of these dreams, I just have not been executing them, and it's really disappointing. Like, I'm upset with myself. We've all been there, right? Like, life gets in the way, something happens, work gets busy, but at the end of the day, like, we need that push because no one's coming to save us. Your parents aren't coming to save you. Like, your boss is not coming to save you. You have to get up and create your own life, right? And if your life doesn't turn out the way you want it to be, if you don't achieve your goals, like, that's on you. You gotta stop expecting people to give a shit about your goals like you do. Let's get our game up, okay? This year is not gonna be the year where it's December and we're like, where the hell did the year go? What did I do with it? Like, this is gonna be the year we launch. Why? Because I'm tired of like looking at myself in the mirror and knowing that I'm not doing my best. I'm tired of like not living up to my potential, and that's a dark feeling when you're like, when you know what you should be doing, you know what you want to be doing, and you're not doing it. And you're sitting in bed. Like, as a YouTuber, I have not been YouTubing, okay? Let's be honest. I've been uploading like once a month for the last couple months. I'm not the prettiest YouTuber. I'm not the most fashionable. I'm not the most put together, but one thing I can control is how I show up, how often I show up, and that's what you can control. Let's focus on what you can control and stop being lazy, okay? Because you can control your laziness. You can't control your boss being a jackass, but you can control your laziness. You can't control the level of wealth you were born into, but you can control how hard you work every day, right? Sometimes I can point to everything else in the world and be like, yeah, but it's like crappy weather and like, but I'm like not feeling well, but like, you know, Mercury's in retrograde. But let's be honest, sometimes I'm just being lazy. And sometimes you're just being lazy. A lot of external factors are gonna stop you from doing what you want, but I better not see you stopping yourself. So I'm gonna break this video down into 2 parts. The first is mindset tips, the second is practical tips, because you need both, 2 hands. Have you guys been slanted the whole time? Didn't say anything? Lean with a rock with it. The first mindset tip I have to exit your lazy era is gratitude. Whenever I remember like how lucky I am to be where I am, it's like a fire under my ass. If you're stuck in a negative mind space, like, okay, that would be part of the reason that you're not being disciplined, that you're not striving towards your goals. Because when you're in a negative headspace, right, you're waking up and you're like, why is life happening this way to me? Like, of course it's raining. Of course my bus is late. Of course the other person got a promotion instead of me. That does not foster the mindset of inspiration and positivity and like energy to get moving. But if you feel like you have nothing to be grateful for, let me just break it down to you. I was having a conversation with someone else the other day, and we were just talking about how like, dude, statistically, you literally won the lottery like 3-4 times over in this lifetime, literally just existing right now, watching this video. Let's break it down if you don't believe me. First of all, the fact that you're a human is actually insane. You could have been a plant, you could have been a bug. Humans are the most advanced intellectualized, is that a word? Intellectual species ever known to exist. Gary Vee always says 400 trillion to 1. That are the odds of you being a human. You could have been a gazelle in the wild fighting for your life. Furthermore, the fact that you're a human in this time period is another jackpot. Like, if you're a woman watching this, 100 years ago, you literally did not have several rights, like the right to vote, the right to own a credit card. That's like a generation and change ago. That's not that long ago. And even if you're not in a group that would have been marginalized, 50 years ago, there was no internet. We are the first generations to have the internet, to connect billions of people from around the world together. Like, the fact that I can make money talking to my camera is insane. That would not have been a thing like 30 years ago. I just, by the skin of my teeth, was able to get an opportunity like this. Even if you don't want to be a content creator, the fact that you can just go online and Google like how to make a bed frame or how much do kangaroos weigh, and then with one click you get the answer instantly, like you're so lucky. Like 50 years ago, if you wanted to know how much a kangaroo weighed, I don't even know, man. You'd probably have to like go to Australia and like with a weighing scale. I don't know. Or you'd have to like talk to a kangaroo expert or like read an encyclopedia and like go to the library, check out a book. times were hard. Like, we have it really lucky. I don't know who can relate to these next few, but I'm going to speak about myself because you guys have said you wanted to know more about me in these videos, about my life. So I've never shared this with you, I just realized, but I am an immigrant. I was born in India, in specifically Calcutta, India, where most people live in extreme poverty. So just the fact that I was able to grow up here in America is actually mind-blowing. There are literally millions of people who spend their entire lives just trying to like sit on this plot of land that is called America. There are hundreds of people who die every year trying to get within these borders. And here I am, just walking around, and I have to remind myself that most of the world don't have a lot of the freedoms and luxuries that I have just being an American citizen. To basically wrap up the gratitude part of this, I feel like our ancestors went through so much to get to the point where we're at. Right? Like, every generation that has ever existed has pushed humanity forward. Maybe that's literally the level of cavemen into one day like having civilization, into one day having houses, into one day having the internet, into one day having smartphones. Each generation keeps passing the baton, right? And I feel like I've been so blessed, like the baton has been passed so far from me. Like, people have been sprinting behind me to hand me the baton. Like, I can't just sit there. Being lazy feels like, wow, like all of that hard work that went on behind me is going to vain because it's like someone sprinting to give you the baton and then you're just like, oh, that's cool. I want to do so much with my life because like I owe it to myself. I owe it to the people before me to sprint, to make something of my life, to be happy, to inspire others. I owe it to the people behind me to keep moving the baton. The second tip is kind of related to what I just said, but it's you owe it to yourself. One of the worst things you can do is not be everything you could have been in this life. I read a lot of like self-development books and inspirational quotes, but there's a few that have stuck with me, and this is one of them. This is the behind the scenes of being a YouTuber. My throat is so dry from talking so much. This is slightly spiritual, but I'm not even a spiritual person and it hit for me, so just stay with me. Imagine being on your deathbed and you look up and standing around you are a bunch of yous. All of these people are your unfilled potential. The ghosts of the ideas that you never acted on. Maybe it's the version of you that got really healthy. Another one is the version of you that became a millionaire. Another one is the version of you that's a CEO. Another one is a version of you that's like a really good parent. And you look around and you're like, who are you guys? And they're like, we're you. We're the people you could have been. And they're looking at you disappointed and angry and upset, saying, you could have brought us to life, but instead we're all going to the grave together. All of those potential hopes and dreams. So how many ghosts are going to be around your deathbed? Bring those versions of you to life now. The point is, we all have like little glimmers of potential dreams, whether it's being a YouTuber or opening a restaurant or being a fashion designer or writing a screenplay or being an actor. Like, don't let those versions of you go to die. The least you can do is give it a fair shot in this lifetime. My third mindset tip for you to exit your lazy era and get up and start moving is to choose your heart. This is a pretty straightforward one. It's hard to go to the gym and work out and sweat and have sore muscles. It's also hard to be unhealthy or overweight. It's hard to spend your weekends launching a side business or doing your side hustle or making extra income. It's also hard living with that regret of never having started that business or never being rich. It's really hard to go to therapy and work on yourself and dig up your emotional wounds. It's also hard to be a toxic person and lose people in your life because you're not healed. Life is gonna be hard either way, so choose your heart. My last mindset advice to just get going on something is, a lot of you guys have big dreams, but it's always scary starting a journey because of embarrassment, right? Maybe you want to start a new career path because you hate your job, but like that's so embarrassing starting from scratch after like already climbing the ladder a bit. Maybe you want to start working out and getting in shape, but maybe you don't know how to use the machines at the gym and you're scared of embarrassing yourself and looking stupid. I'm not going to sit here and say you're not going to look dumb, right? Because Lord knows Some of my early YouTube videos were cringe. Some of the things I post on Instagram are cringe. If you're just starting to go to the gym, you're probably not gonna know all of the machines in like the proper form. God knows I didn't. Oh my goodness, you should have seen my squat form. The way my back was arched. You should have seen my treadmill form. The way that I was like leaning over on the treadmill and busting my knees. For what? For what? I looked so dumb. So that's the thing. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, oh, you're gonna be great. You're probably gonna suck. You're probably gonna suck the first time, second time, third time, maybe 10 times, maybe 50 times. But guess what? On the 51st time, you're gonna be better. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you like you're not gonna embarrass yourself. You probably are. But the gag is, embarrassment is the entry fee. Embarrassment is the entry fee of success. You just gotta embrace it. Like if someone told you you could be a really successful business owner, but your first 30 business ideas are gonna flop, I would be excited to embarrass myself. I would be excited to fail. Every time I failed, it would be like, oh, great, I'm one step closer. If looking embarrassed is gonna stop you from doing what you want in life, then you need to subscribe to hear more of my advice on that. So moving on, before we get into the practical tips, I want you guys to think about or journal about a couple of questions, because the root of all change, the root of all inspiration and motivation is a lot of self-reflection. If you've been just scrolling endlessly on social media, eating crappy, whatever it is, right? Not doing what you're supposed to do, really ask yourself why. If you're not being a good partner, like ask yourself why. Like what is really happening? More times than not, your first answer is not the answer. So like if you were to ask me why I haven't been posting more YouTube videos, I would have said I've been busy at work and the weather has been crappy and that always puts me in a bad mood, and I've had low energy and I haven't been feeling great. But then let's dig deeper. Like, why do I have low energy? Maybe it's because you haven't been eating properly. Maybe it's because you haven't had a single serving of vegetables all week. Maybe it's because you're not drinking enough water. Why do you not have enough time? Let's check the social media time, shall we? Maybe it's because you've been scrolling on TikTok for 3 hours a day. Maybe you're being lazy because you actually have deep-rooted self-esteem issues that you're not addressing, that you might need to go to therapy for. Maybe you're being lazy because you actually have a diagnosis of something and you need to get diagnosed. People always say when you're striving for a goal, know your why, but like also know your why as to why you're not doing it. That's just as important. Not getting down to the root of why you're actually being lazy is like if like your car isn't working and you're just like, is it under the hood? I don't know. Is it the tire? I don't know. Is it out of gas? I don't know. But like you're just sitting there trying to drive the car and you don't even know what's wrong with it. How are you gonna fix what you need to fix? Next, I'm talking about the practical tips, the execution plan. You can read all of the self-development books and listen to the inspirational podcasts and have little Pinterest boards on your room wall, but it doesn't get done until it gets done. You know what I always say? Do not leave your dreams as thought bubbles in your head. They deserve more than that. One of my favorite Gary Vee sayings is, you can't get into shape by reading about push-ups. You can spend your entire life looking at all of the fitness channels and becoming an expert on fitness, but you'll never be fit unless you start doing the push-ups. So these are tips that I use on a daily basis. Starting with, start your day with energy. Start your day with something that gets you in a good mood. Because if you're waking up thinking, oh my gosh, here we go again, another day, I have to go to work. Like there's not much room for inspiration if that's how you're walking into your day, right? But unfortunately, a lot of people are. So find something in the morning, maybe it's getting up even just 5 minutes earlier, just 10 minutes earlier, to be able to make yourself your favorite latte, or to be able to stop by at Starbucks and get your favorite bagel. I invested in really comfy house slippers. Hang on, I'll be right back. I'll go get them. These right here, okay? These right here. They're so comfy. I live in the New York City area and it's been particularly cold and rainy and I don't want to get out of bed. Like the floor is cold. But when I put these on, it's giving Sarah Jessica Parker. It's giving luxury, and all of a sudden I feel like I'm like this like rich British actor. I need a croissant. Let's be real, we all know how triggered we get in the morning when we hear that freaking alarm. I'm in panic mode. I just want to crawl under my blanket mode. Maybe it's as simple as playing with your dog or getting sunlight for 10 minutes, but whatever it is, make sure the first like 10 minutes of your day is something that you can look forward to, because that is what's gonna get you out of bed. The second practical advice I have for exiting your lazy era is eliminate your distractions. And I know that sounds like everyone says that, but something I heard once that really helped was think of it like a movie theater mode, right? So when you go into a movie theater, what do I do first? I put my phone on silent and I'm putting my mindset in the mode of I'm gonna be sitting here watching this screen for an hour and a half, for 2 hours. So when you need to put yourself in that disciplined time, put yourself in movie theater mode. Silence your phone. Why? Because just like you're respecting the movie theater space, respect yourself, respect your goals, respect that time. This is me time. This is getting work done time. And put yourself in the mindset of I'm gonna be here for 2 hours. You know what your distractions are. The next practical tip of just getting it done is to gamify it. Let's be honest, sometimes we have to do tedious things, okay? I love getting on camera and filming YouTube videos, but there's a whole back-end administrative part of YouTube that's not fun, right? Just mundane everyday tasks like washing the dishes, making the bed, taking out the trash. For some people, like it's so hard for them to do unless it's fun, and some chores are just not fun, right? So how do you make washing the dishes fun? You need to gamify it. The easiest way to do that for me is to set a timer. So I'll go to the sink and I'll have my timer just like this, and I just hit go, and then I just like start washing the dishes and loading the dishwasher as fast as I can. And let's say it takes like, I don't know, 7 minutes. Then the next time I wash dishes, I try to, sorry about that. Then the next time I wash dishes, I try to beat that time and make it like 6 minutes and 58 seconds. This can work for making your bed or folding your laundry. I know this sounds weird, but I'm actually like looking forward to the next time I have to fold laundry, just so I can beat that time, because I'm so determined. So you can do the timer version of this. Some people just have a reward system, like every time they go to the gym, they get to have Chipotle on the way home. My next tip is to make it easy. And I have a whole video I'll link to about creating good habits and how making the habit easy is such a critical role into actually making it a habit. So for example, I have been embarrassingly bad with ordering food. I've been super lazy with cooking, eating healthy, and because why? Because it's easy to order Uber Eats. It's right there on my phone. 2 clicks and 15 minutes away from like Chipotle being at my doorstep. So of course I would go with that option. Why? Because cooking is like annoyingly hard compared to that. So what did I do? I made ordering Uber Eats harder than cooking at home, okay? So I deleted the app, I removed the notifications, because sometimes Uber Eats is bugging. They'll send me notifications like, we've missed you, haven't seen you in a long time, you hungry? Like, crazy marketing. So anyway, turned off the notifications. And I know myself, I know that if I'm really craving something, I will re-download the app. So I went a step further. I removed my credit card information. So now if I want Uber Eats, what do I have to do? I have to literally re-download the app, sign in because I removed Face ID from it, input my credit card information, which is I hate doing that. So I've made that whole process a lot harder. And on the other hand, I've made cooking a lot easier by meal prepping. So I'll make like stir fry, freeze it. I'm making dal, which is like the Indian word for lentils basically. Lentil soup, freezing it. So the next time I'm hungry, what's easier? Going to the fridge and just microwaving some dal, or doing that whole Uber Eats process again, okay? So set yourself up for success. If you're being lazy going to the gym, make it easy. Put your gym clothes out. Sometimes I'm lazy about really dumb, silly things. Like I'll walk by a piece of plastic wrapper on my floor for months and not pick it up. It takes literally like 1.5 seconds. Why don't I do it? I don't know. But we all have that dumb shit that we should be doing, right? So when it comes to those little things, I've really made it a rule that if it takes less than 2 minutes, immediately get it done. As soon as I think of it, you better get it done. You better get it done in that moment. So if I see a piece of trash on the floor, the second I see it, The second I see it, I swear, if I don't pick it up. And it's honestly been such a relief because a lot of the to-do list things in my head are dozens of very small tasks, like taking the trash out, replacing the toilet paper, getting around to calling Verizon about something. Like, it's micro things. Also, on a side note, some people who are lazy actually just struggle with time management. So I have a whole video about how I efficiently time block. I'll link that here as well. The next practical tip of exiting your lazy era is using your momentum. This is probably the case for most people. When you come back from work and you know you should go to the gym, don't sit down on the couch. Don't sit down on the bed. Don't change into your comfy clothes. Don't do it. You have to change straight into your gym clothes. Why? Because you have the momentum from work. You have to use that energy, because startup energy is no joke. If I'm in a comfy state of rest and then you're gonna make me try to get up and put on gym clothes and go to the gym, it's not happening. But if I'm already on the go, I'm coming back on the train from work, like I already have it in me to just keep going. Just keep going. My next mindset tip to exiting your lazy era is have an alter ego. I have an alter ego. Her name is Arya. Arya is a bad bee. Arya always gets her shit done. Arya wakes up early, she's motivated, she's disciplined. So whenever I don't feel like doing something, I channel Arya. If having an alter ego is kind of cringy for you, then you can just channel the person that you know who is best at that thing. When I just want to lay in bed all day, I channel usually Gary Vee. Like, what would Gary Vee do right now? He would think about all of the reasons that he's grateful that he opened his eyes and is here to live another day. When I'm feeling lazy with like being a good person, or like trying to like do the right thing or say the right thing, I channel my therapist. I'm like, what would she tell me to do? What would she do? She would probably approach this with grace. She'd probably take a deep breath. She would probably like respond with love. And my inspirational quote for today is, if you don't sacrifice for what you want becomes the sacrifice. That's all I have for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys. Oh yeah, I forgot I'm calling you buds from now on. So I'll see you next week, buds. Bye guys.